Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important topic of Angular, that is sending the data from parent component to child component as a Boolean value. Yes, in previous two sessions we discussed how to send string data, how to send number data, but in project there might be some requirement where we are supposed to send the data in terms of Boolean. Okay, so in this session we will discuss how to send Boolean data type, what all syntax need to be changed there, and how to receive and print that value on a child component. Okay, but before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to send Boolean data type from parent to child component. Okay, so here we will start everything from scratch itself. So what we will do now, like firstly I'll create one component, child component, and we all know that one component is already added in the new project, that is app component, or you can say the parent component. In this parent component we will create another component, and that component will be created as a child component. Okay, and we all know to create the component we need to run one command, that is nggc component name. So here we will write ng, which is for Angular, g is for generate, c is for component, and here we will mention login, which is the name of the component. Okay, now you can simply hit enter. After enter you will see that there are 4 files created in this login folder, which we are considering as a component. So these are the 4 files: login.component.html, login.component.spects, login.component.ts, and login.component.css. So these are the 4 files that we have created here. After this, what we will do, here we will connect this component, this child component, with the parent component. So for that, just simply go to this login.component.ts file. From here, just remember the selector value. So here you can simply copy the selector value, and also remember this name, because this is the name that we will be using. Okay, so just copy the selector name, go to this HTML page of app component, because here we want to use it, right? So just pass it as a tag, and after using it, before using it, it should be registered in the app.component.ts file. So for that we will go to this app.component.ts file. Here inside this import section we will import the login component. So here we will put the name of the class, which is login component. Perfect. So once you add this thing, you will see that this line has been automatically added, only second line. Okay, fine. Now you can save this thing, and here in app.component.html file we will send the data. How? As a Boolean value. To send the data, let me put the variable name as isActive. So just assume a scenario where we are trying to send some data which will tell the child component whether maybe the file or any process is active or not, because in that situation only we can use the Boolean value, because it contains either true or false, not other than that, right? So here we mentioned variable as isActive, then equal, and then we will pass the value inside a double quote. So let's say I'm passing true. Spelling is wrong, make it sure, true. Fine, perfect. So so far we have just forwarded this data, right? But we have not received it. So to receive this thing, what you need to do, you need to go to this login.component.ts, because from parent component it is forwarded, but in child component it is not received yet. So to receive it, you just need to write here input, and this is case sensitive, so always make sure to correct the select. Always make sure to select the correct one. Okay, so input, then opening closing parenthesis, then equal space, and after the space just put the variable name. So in our case we will use isActive, and then colon, its data type is Boolean, and then equal, here we will put the default value. So let's say if no one is forwarding any data, so we will use it as false. Perfect. So with this line we have mentioned that we are going to accept the isActive variable and its type is Boolean, and we are going to set the default value as false. Okay, so if user is providing, if parent component is providing any data that we will be using, but if it is not providing any data, in that case we will set the value as false, because this component is expecting the Boolean value. Okay, fine. Now next thing is inside, like we have received this but we have not used it. So to use it, let's go to the login.component.html. Here we will print the value. So just write P for paragraph. Here we will write this is the value received from parent component to child component. Okay, and then double curly braces, open close, and here we will put the variable name, which is isActive. Perfect. Now you can save it. So what we did so far, like firstly we created the component, then we attached our component with the parent component. After that, from parent component HTML file, we have shared the data as true, which is a Boolean value. Then we registered this app.login inside the app.component.ts file, because without registration you won't be able to use this. Okay, after that you need to go to this login.component.ts file where we will receive this value. So this is the line that will help you to receive the data. After this you need to go to this login.component.html file where we will print the data, which is this is the value received from parent component to child component, and the value is isActive. Okay, now you can simply save this thing, and we are good to save all the files. So make sure that all files are saved, otherwise it might cause error. So far, like we are just sending the static value. I'll also tell you like how to send the dynamic value, but for now we are just sending the static value. Alright, so let's run the application using ngserve command. Once you write ngserve, it will take few seconds, and now your application is ready. Just go to this link and follow the link, and now you can see this application is printing the data Angular by Session-12, which is coming from app.component.html file. Then we have login works, which is a text coming from login component, and this line is also coming from login component, where we mentioned this is the value received from parent component to child component, and the value is true. Okay, now let me show you the impact of this default value. So let's say if we remove this part and save it, what it will do now, it will show the value as false. But why this value is coming? Because here in this login.component.ts, while receiving the value, we have set this value as false. So is it mandatory to pass this? Let me show you. So if you remove this thing and just save it like this, will it accept? You can see isActive has no initializer, and it is definitely assigned in a constructor. Okay, so this is the reason it's better to go with the default value, and now you can see it is coming with a default value. Another important thing I want to show you here, like in the app.component.html file, instead of passing value directly here, let's set it as a variable. Okay, so here I'll pass it as a variable. So to use this thing, you need to go to this app.component.ts file where we will set the value of isActive to true, but this is a Boolean value. Okay, so remember the thing that in app.component it should be like this only. Okay, and instead of true in quote, because this is a Boolean, there is no need of quote while define the value, so you need to use like this. Okay, so from this variable it will pass the value to the app.component, which is isActive, and then you will see the output as true. Here if you change the value to false, so it will send the value as false. So basically it depends on this variable, how maybe you are receiving this variable from third party application or with some other program, so that will also work accordingly. Okay, so in this session mainly we discussed the process through which we can accept the data from parent component to child component, okay, as a Boolean value. So far we have covered three data types: string, number, and Boolean. And remember this thing, these all data type you should know at least, like once you have comfortable with one session, just watch all these sessions and it will give you the idea like how to send the data from parent to child with all kind of possible data type. Okay, because these are the things that we will be using. Alright, so yeah, that's all for today, and in the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.